Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Mignot, CEO of experience agency D Flash. This is part of my 29 Days of Magic series where I get to interview a phenomenal Black woman every single day for the month of February for Black History Month and have a great conversation. Today's episode, I'm having a great conversation with Big Tara, who is an art-tivist, who will tell you all about what that means and how she does it. And she also happens to be my birthday twin, so I'm super excited to have someone who shares February 19th, his birthday, with me on the show. We're going to have a great conversation. Take a listen. Hey, Big Tara.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, the winter's been a bumpy ride so far. It's been a bumpy ride.
It has not been really winter, so I'm not going to complain.
True. That is true.
I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this. Every time our birthday shows up, there's usually snow on the ground. So I'm going to
Yep.
be very happy that it appears as well as going to be decently warm this week. So I'm not going to bitch.
I'm with you on that one.
So if you listen to the show, the first question is always the same. I'm always fascinated by the answers. I'm sure yours will be no different. So, Big Tara, what was your first job?
My very first job was with summer youth employment, and I was like building a big piece of art with this artist in Minetto Lane, and it was for the UN. It was a really interesting project because we had to like build all these like paper things, and it was interesting, I guess, to see like that an artist was doing a big project and it was going to the UN, and it was, she had a huge grant, and that's why we were part of it. So yeah, that was my very first like job.
Wow. Okay, that's like a real serious project. How old were you?
I was like 14.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's gonna leave a mark and be pretty indelible on your career.
Yeah, that was also like the first year I ever went in an airplane. I went to China to do a student exchange thing. So yeah, that was a year, I guess, where I just saw like different aspects of the world outside of what I was used to, like in my neighborhood.
Wait, you went to China at 14. I know you just
Yeah.
glossed over that part of the story. So, huh?
Well, I'm a proud nerd.
Yeah.
I went to Bronx High School of Science, and yeah, like they chose like four of us, four Black students, to go to China in the outreach program that I was in, Liberty Partnerships program, and we were the only four Black people on that trip. And yeah, it was so we could study acupuncture and Eastern medicine. So that also like really blew my mind in terms of medicine, and it just blew my mind that Chinese food tasted different in China. Like I was like, oh, this is real Chinese food, okay. And like all this, yeah, I know, it's crazy. And then all the stuff that says made in China. I'm in China now. I was like, wow, this is where the made in China is made. Like, it really blew my mind. Just to see and China's like a really like strong culture that is clearly different from New York City. So it was like, mind explosion. Yeah.
Wow, especially at 14. How long did you stay?
I was out there for 3 weeks. We did like the touristy kind of things. So we went to the Great Wall of China. We went to the very first McDonald's that they ever had in China. That's how much of a throwback it is. It was their very
Wow.
first McDonald's. Yeah, that was also when Nike Air Max came out, and I saw the first Nike Air Max in Hong Kong, and it changed my life. Pisces with feet.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just I guess that was part of like a really life changing giving me a perspective that will help me with my future career kind of a thing, because wowzers. Now that, when I think back on it, I'm like, I don't even think I could handle everything I was seeing then. It was like so much just seeing the world like outside of your block is like so overwhelming in terms of nature and culture and music and religion and how they heal people differently than hospitals here. It was wow.
Wow. And at 14, you get to see all that. That's got to be really incredible. But also gives you a
Yeah,
different perspective on and just the world in general because you're getting to see it up close and like what you read versus what you see
yeah,
in fiction. What's been fascinating.
yeah. You see how big it is and how small it is too. Like, like how we're common, but also how we're very different, and it's all good. So yeah, and after that, like I had to travel more because it was like, well, now I've seen China, I need to see other places. So
I would
yeah.
imagine because, like, yeah, once you start there, you're like, well, I've set the hot bar pretty darn high. So
Yes.
awesome. So okay, so after your incredible and very very impactful first job, how do we get to be sitting here now to have a conversation? What's your journey been like since then?
Well, since then, I still work in outreach programs. Like I was in an outreach program which helped me get my first job, and I just stayed with them working in outreach and community service, which I still do to this day. Like I work at the Lower East Side Girls Club, trying to support young women, so that they can navigate adulthood, more empowered and supported in the future. Um, but yeah, so there's that. Plus, I travel a lot. I do a lot of work, in different countries, learning about their culture and connecting with the people. Because that's really my favorite. I'm not really into like going on vacations and just sitting around. Like it's really hard for me to do that. Like the one time I did that, I went to Mexico, and I went with my family, and we were at one of those like timeshare places, and I just felt awful the whole time. I was like, are these people being paid properly? Is there
Right.
somewhere like is there something I can do? Like, oh my goodness. So when I travel, though, I generally like to go where I'm teaching and working with people and supporting young people, and sharing hip hop is usually how I'm out there, because usually wherever I go, young people love to learn about hip hop, and dance, and so yeah, that's basically what I'm about right now. I'm very much an ambassador of hip hop culture. I've I've gone through the U.S. government under President Obama, uh, to a couple of countries, and in North Africa. And I've also like gone on my own to like Africa, South America, um, and Europe a bunch of times. So yeah, it's been really great, like tying together traveling and working with youth to help support them and art.
So you just glossed over so the Obama administration sent me around the world. Just downplaying that. Why don't you go back a little and give us a little bit more detail about what you actually accomplished, girl?
Okay. Well, when I went to Africa, I've been to Nigeria, which was that was actually just on my own, where I was teaching pole dance and helping a woman open a pole dance school in Nigeria. But when I went with the government to Africa, I went to Algeria and Tunisia, which was really great because it was my first time in Muslim countries. So I was kind of nervous just because of all the terrible things I heard, you know,
Hmm.
but and I felt bad about that because I'm like, I wish I didn't feel this way, but I'm scared in certain ways. But when I was there, it was like they were so sweet. Like people were just so sweet and regular. They're not like all caught up in like whatever America drama, like the way, I don't know, kind of people make it seem like they're just regular people, just trying to live their lives and have families and jobs and live in peace as well. Like, it's really not as scary as people or as the media makes it sound. Um, Super sweet people, and I actually like that. Um, they think that spirituality is an important part of the day, like that they have a call for prayer. I think in New York it would be great if we had like a call to like, meditate or pray or take a moment to
Mm-hmm.
like ground yourself. I would love if the whole city had moments of the day for that because we could sure use it out here.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, like yeah, with I went with Next Level, which is a hip hop cultural exchange program. And yeah, it was so amazing to like see these young people who really love hip hop and really love to dance and have all these goals and dreams and, you know, want to share and connect. It was also challenging though because I felt like I wish I could do more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and one of my students who like I had chosen to come to New York wasn't allowed to come because of, whatever red tape. So that was also kind of disheartening. So like it's a wonderful thing, but it's also like you get to see what work needs to be done. So yeah, but that was like a really great life-changing experience.
And how long were you over there?
I was over there for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah.
And so how do you teach pole dancing in Nigeria? And
Right.
like, again, like you gloss over the important parts of the story, just because. Like I know you're an incredible dancer. Could you tell the people?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm this is great practice for me because I'm so terrible at talking about myself. Like I prefer to just like dance and less talk, but no, it's good. It's important. So yeah, pole dance in Nigeria. Um this was like an awesome event in my life because it was like January, New Year's. I was like praying about, what do I want for my resolutions? What are my goals for this year? Meditating on that. And, one of the things that came up, I was like, I really want to go to Africa. I need to go. I've never been, I want to go this year, and I didn't have a plan how. I didn't know what country, because, Africa's a bunch of countries. So, and then less than a week later, I got a text message from my job where I was teaching pole dance. They were like, we need someone to go to Africa to teach pole dance for a month. I was like, what? What?
If
When
you
you like look at
manifest
your
it,
message.
uh,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I looked at the message and I was like, is this real? Like, what? But I was like, okay, I'll go. And it was like really a great blessing because all of the stuff that I would have had to go through on my own would have been like impossible, like, because all of the shots, and then I had to do like visa things, and yeah, it was like not a simple process. So it was great that I actually had a support system, like who just made it very like easy and quick. Um, and I went out there, and wow, it was like wow. It, um, I went to all the Afrobeat parties. I went to all of Fela Kuti shrines. I went to Femi Kuti shrine, and teaching pole dance. It was it was um it was a great experience to support women in feeling beautiful and feeling empowered about their beauty. Um, because out there, like I found that a lot of people feel like they need to like bleach their skin and wear lots of makeup and you know, just do a lot of things to like cover their natural beauty. So it was nice to be able to help people feel good about themselves. And um, yeah, I made some really great friendships out there that I still have. I also found the Buddhist community out there, which I was super surprised about. I'm a Buddhist, so I was really excited to find the Nigerian Buddhists because I wasn't even sure if there were any.
and was there a
Um,
difference in how they practice versus how you practice?
nope.
Uh, Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, that was the type of Buddhism I practice. Like whenever I've traveled to other countries and found the groups, like they always feel like home, which is like really remarkable to me. Like, wow, it's really about transferring like the heart, the integrity of something as opposed to just like the title. So like seeing when the heart of things is really shared properly, like you can always feel the same regardless of the location, you know?
Wow, that's really beautiful. And did you have any pushback when you were in Nigeria teaching pole dancing, or or folks were just like, "Oh, great, someone's here to finally teach"?
Um, so I didn't have specific pushback at me, but there were incidents sometimes. Like, one time I was out with a couple of the girls, and one of their husbands came, and he was mad she was with us at a bar, and he like came and slapped her and then pulled her out of the party. So like there was like certain times where it was like, damn, it's intense out here too in certain ways. Like, cause that happened, and people like kind of didn't do or say anything. Like, so like I know that there's definitely that kind of trying to control and keep women like in their place in certain ways out there.
Mhm.
But where I was, no one directly came at me. And also the woman who brought me out there, it was a woman who was setting up this pole dance school. And I know like she was, she's super strong. Like, she could do that Nigerian where you suck your teeth thing. Like she could do it so good. She could suck her teeth for like 10 minutes straight. And like there's times I would see her negotiating with dudes like about like construction or the gas, like because everything there is powered by petroleum. Like I would see her negotiating things, and like she was the boss. But like if you're not a boss, like yeah, it's not, yeah, you're not gonna get ahead out there. um so yeah, like she was super tough at handling anyone who tried to like diminish her entrepreneurial goals. But overall, I didn't experience too much pushback though.
Awesome. So tell me about why is it that you love to dance and share that with the world so much?
Um, I love to dance. Why do I love to dance? I've been dancing since I was little, like 3, 4 years old. I love music. I find it really healing and soothing. And it's a great healthy outlet. Like I'm all about healthy outlets. Um, and like music is a great way to like gather with people also and dance with people or share thoughts and in a good positive way, and music comes from all over the world. And movement, I also love movement. I've noticed, you know, now that I'm older, that if I'm not dancing, I'm like gonna be depressed. Like I need to move, or I will hold certain like things inside my body that, like just regular things I'll hold in my body, and I need to like not do that. So dancing is my jam. Um, and I like sharing it just because I've noticed that like so many people love hip hop dancing. Like whether it's breaking, I'm a beat girl. I do breaking, or pole dancing, or house. Like most street dances, like they have a huge following all over the world because it gives people a healthy outlet. It gives people a community to be a part of. But also like it impacts how they dress, how they talk, um, and it helps them to connect with people all over the world, which is really beautiful. Like, and we need more connection, on a global scale anyway. So that's really what I love about it. And also from teaching young people, I see how it empowers them. Like I see how and this is even in pole dance, like seeing how people develop confidence and a sense of accomplishment when they can get a routine down, or when they can finally get a step that they've been trying to figure out, or sharing a gift that they, have with other people is also like really, healing and fun. So, just dance is just such a great tool, and it's a gift that I have, so I may as well use it. But let me tell you, I'm a shy person, so the fact that I'm a dancer is kind of crazy, but at this but that's my thing. Like, that just is just why I'm here. I never doubted it. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think that there is something about being born on February 19th and being shy, because same. So and I think there is something to the fact that, like, yeah, we might be shy in one way, but we can be extroverted when we need to be, and
Yes.
and the outlets that
Yeah.
and the outlets that matter to us, and it kind of fuels our souls.
Mm.
We can become much more extroverted, but then of course we still want to be a bit of an introvert. So I think it's a unique thing to February 19th, because I actually know two other people who share our birthday, and
Really?
similar things, where it's like, what is about this date? Like, what's wrong with all of us? um,
Wow. We need to have a get together.
yeah, we do. We definitely do. Um, so, did you ever get like official formal pole dancing training, or like was it, or you just, because you were naturally good at it and then just honed on the craft?
Well, what had happened was, I was I was working at Crunch Fitness, and I was like open to anything. Like at that time, like I was just teaching anything and everything. I taught dance classes, and I also taught like Pilates. I taught regular sculpting classes, and then they were like, "Hey, we need someone to help teach pole dance class." And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I'll go. Like, I was like already a hardcore B girl, so I'm used to rolling around on the floor and being upside down, and you know what I mean? So I didn't have any, you know, inhibitions about that. Um, and also like, I felt like, yeah, I could work on my sensuality, like sharing that, because as you already mentioned, I'm shy. So it seemed like a good idea, like, like, let me work on this part of myself, just being able to navigate it more comfortably. Um, and, it just grew out of control. Like, like I started teaching pole dance at Crunch all the time. And then we would have performances. And then I would start teaching in other places and going to competitions. And um, it was just a really fun, healthy outlet. And again, it felt really good to see women who did not feel comfortable in their own skin start to feel comfortable about how they look, regardless of feeling like they're a work in progress because, we're at a gym or whatever. Um, and I'm the one who, helped put them on to like the more black parts of being sexy, because it was, mostly people who were not black. So I'm the one who like put them on to like twerking, or to like grinding, or to like certain black music that was spicy. Um, so that was also like a really necessary thing that I know I helped add to their perspective in terms of sensuality. And I also, have helped like women who are more sick, like, get their like mojo back, or get their mojo popping. So um, it was really a wonderful time, like, because I don't work at Crunch anymore, but it was really great, like, just seeing all these young women blossom and find some self-esteem and confidence. And yeah, that was a really great memory for me to share, like, to support them on that journey. And every now and then I like to do it, again, but I haven't done it for a bit.
Awesome. And such a great way of explaining as to how you can help people find their mojo back, which is so necessary for a lot of women, especially.
Hmm.
So, what would you tell 25-year-old Tara, looking back on what you've done so far?
Um, I would tell 25-year-old Tara, um, to just trust yourself and focus more on your own inner voice than what's going on outside in terms of other people. I think like when I was younger, part of me was like really like trying to like was relying too much on what other people were doing in a certain way, because I was not trusting my own guidance and GPS. So yeah, I wish I would have did that more, but no regrets. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, young people, like, it's just so great to just learn to trust your own voice, because everybody got opinions, and media and society got things for you to do, but you have to in the end figure out what you need to do for yourself, for your life. Yeah.
Awesome. And so what's next for you? What are you working on now?
Right now I'm working on a wellness brand. Because now that I'm you know, aging and older and seeing my friends going through stuff that I would rather they not go through if I can avoid it by sharing information. Um, so I'm working on like a wellness brand to help educate people about how to take better care of themselves. Like since I've been in the fitness and dance and stuff industry for many years, like I've learned a lot of ways to keep myself healthy, and I'm just noticing a lot of people around me actually don't know, and I assume they knew already. But so yeah, that's my wellness brand, and I'm also working on a book about my dance journey in New York City.
Awesome. What's more about the book?
Well, yeah, the book is just I want to share my dance journey in New York City just because I grew up here. I've been dancing since before it was in studios, but I was also at the very first studio dance class at Broadway Dance Center, so I saw the difference. And I've also witnessed when there were no foreigners coming here to do hip hop to when there were all of a sudden a million foreigners coming to learn about hip hop. So I just want to share, the simple journey of a native New Yorker and like just New York City dance culture, like from our eyes, because I think a lot of people try to skip over our cultural experience and heritage, and just because they want to get moves and popular and money and industry uh, kind of um, gains, but really it's a culture. And I just want to remind people, like, yeah, there are people who come from here and this is where we live and this is how we fellowship. It's not just the industry, it's actually people's home and how they share their lives with each other.
Wow. So dance is home.
Yeah, yeah. And New York is home, and I'm only saying that because like a lot of people love things from New York, whether it's hip hop, whether it's house, whether it's voguing, whether it's Lindy Hop, um, amongst many other things that come from New York. But people often try to erase New York from the equation, or the New Yorkers who aren't like the famous ones, like if it wasn't a movement, but it is a movement. It takes many people to make it work.
Yeah, that's so very true. And you being at the forefront early on, I'm sure I have a lot to say. Have you written the book or is still in progress?
It's still in progress. It's still in progress. Yeah, it's still in progress. But I started like once. So I taught. I had a teaching artist residency at Hunter College, and that kind of made me aware of, like, because I wanted to find certain resources and I couldn't find it. Like, and sometimes that's when you realize the
Hmm.
necessity for you to do something is when you can't find it yourself. And I couldn't find the resources that I really wanted so that I could teach the students, like, transfer the information properly. So it's like, you know what? Maybe I should just make one myself, tell my story.
Absolutely. Oh, that's going to be
Yeah.
an awesome, because I mean, you've seen so much. I mean, how did you become a breaker?
Well, so so I'm in this crew called the Anomolies. And in that crew, I'm an MC with Pre the Honey Dart, Helix T Armageddon, Invincible, and we have a DJ cutting candy. And when we started the crew, we were trying to have all the elements of hip hop, represented. So we had MCs, we had a DJ, we had graph writers, but we did not have a B girl. So I was like, I'll learn to break. I already knew how to hip hop dance and I already love dancing. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And that's how it started. It was very innocent because I don't know what I thought it was going to be like. Oh, yeah, I'll learn how to do some breaking. But then, like, I just, like, was totally, it was another home kind of a thing where I was like, oh, I belong here. So, I started taking lessons with Crazy Legs for a while. Then I started training with Full Circle, which is Rockefeller and Quick Step. And then I just started training with all of New York. So I trained with all different types of crews, New York City Breakers. And I started traveling. So then I had like breaker friends from all over the States. And the B-Girl crew that I'm in now, Heartbreakers, is actually a culmination of a few of my best friends that in B-Girl life that I've met from all over the world, like Australia, the Netherlands, Florida, California, UK, like everyone, everywhere. But yeah, that's my squad. And yeah, that's how the breaking started. And I knew I was committed. Like certain dance techniques, like when you're committed to it. Like when I was little, I took ballet, and once we got to toe shoes, and I saw how it hurt my toes, I was like, I don't like ballet this much, you know.
Of course.
but with breaking, like for example, training windmills, like the bruise you get on your shoulder, or like if you pop your groin, which is like a popular breaking sort of injury, if you come back, like wow, then you really love your breaking. Like I love breaking, like it's my jam. It's really like it's very much like a martial art. You have to be disciplined. Like you can't take a timeout and just jump back in. Like with certain upright dances, it's really intense. And there's not like a huge amount of there wasn't a huge amount of women when I started. There's way more now, which is awesome. But back when I started, there was not that many women, and to this day, there's never been that many Black women. So I've always been like a unicorn in that sort of way. But
Awesome.
I love it.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's so cool. So what do you do to take care of Tara? Because you got all this good energy that you're giving out to the world. What do you do for you?
Well, what I do for me, I have Buddhism, which is helps me spiritually stay like on track. Because the Buddhism I practice, they really are a very proactive community. So I need that personally. Like you have to find a spiritual practice that matches the type of person you are and what your needs are. And for me, Buddhism has helped me immensely with my spirituality. Um, and then yoga is my movement meditation. Like I've realized that if I'm going to be jumping around all like crazy, I also need to make sure I have times where I'm like very intentionally moving, making sure my body's okay, my joints are okay, my muscles, everything's in alignment and working. And I'm aware and know how to listen to all these different parts of my body, so I know when something is not in alignment. So yoga's been super duper awesome and fantastic. Um, and then yeah, going to parties, like going just to parties, like just to go, like not a competition or a battle, but just like a party, usually with the elders. Like, and when I say the elders, I mean people who are like born in the '60s and '50s or whatever, who still go out because for them, like they're the people who dancing wasn't just a phase, like it's a part of life, like me.
Mhm.
Um, so like going to parties where I can safely jump around with them to good music and just let go of whatever I might be holding in my body. And also just be around aunties and uncles, like who care about me and support me, and So that's my other self-care thing. Those are my three main self-care things.
Awesome. I think those are wonderful ones and mean a lot. So, as part of the 29 Days of Magic series, the last thing I've been asking all my guests is if they have a give and or an ask out to the audience or to the universe, now's the time to say it.
Ooh, a gift or I would just ask, um, hmm, wow, I'm not sure if I want to ask people or the universe. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. I'm really serious about this give or ask. Wow. Anyway, nah, but I would ask for people to just slow down, um, have more compassion for fellow, human beings, and just really learn how to connect with other people's humanity. Like that would be really great. If people could really connect with other people's humanity, then you wouldn't see people doing like really mean things to others. If you could really connect with your own humanity and recognize, the humanity in the people in front of you, like you wouldn't feel entitled to do awful things to people or to the places where people live, you know. Yeah, that would be so awesome right now. Compassion and recognizing humanity of everyone.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you, Tara. That was so sweet and so necessary. And a wonderful way to conclude our episode. Like I said, there's always something interesting about when you meet someone who shares your birthday, and ours is not a common birthday. So it's like I don't know a lot of people who share because we're in the middle of February, and so
Yeah.
but I always find that fellow birthday twins are always just empathetic and compassionate and super
Mm-hmm.
super duper creative, and so I'm so thrilled to have you on the show. And so happy birthday.
Everything!
um,
Yay!
and I wish for you an awesome year full of all the amazing things that you continue to do.
You
And
too. You too.
um and uh, and we'll put all the show notes and all the details about how to find you and where you're teaching and things that you're up to uh uh within the show notes of the show. And Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thanks
And
for
that
having me.
absolutely. And that is our show.